Hello there, grade 6. For today, you're going to learn about circles. Okay, so first, we have to learn about the basic parts of the circle. So just like square and other parts, no, other shapes rather, there are mga parts na kailangan yung maging familiar with. For example, for a square, we have the sides, all four sides, diba? They are called sides. While for a rectangle, we have our length, and we also have our width. Okay? So, for a circle, meron din tayong yung mga basic parts. Okay? Especially when we are solving area and somehow like the perimeter, but in circles, we call it the circumference. Okay? So, may mga basic parts din tayo sa circle. So, first things first that you need to know, every circle has their midpoint. Anong ibig sabihin ng midpoint? Kung saan yung pinaka-center part of the circle, and it can be represented by any letter. Mostly, it's represented by an O. Pero sige lang, later na yan, in a while. Okay, so, what do you call the measurement around the circle? If you're going to start at one point, for example, at this point, measuring it around, all the way around, this is called the circumference. That is what you call the circumference, the measurement around the circle. Okay, yung total measurement niya kumbaga. And we also have yung mga lines. We have two types of lines when it comes to circles. One starting at the midpoint, touching any point of the circle. Like for example, ito, from midpoint lang yan ha, from midpoint is called a radius. Radius ang tawag dyan. Radius refers to from midpoint to any point of the circle. That's what you mean by a midpoint. Okay? The measurement from the midpoint to any point of the circle. So, ibig sabihin, as long as it's from the midpoint touching any part of the circle, it's called a radius. Okay? In other words, measurement siya halfway. It's the measurement halfway. Okay? From a circle. As long as it touches the midpoint and any point of the circle. Yan ang mga kailangan nyong take note ha. Midpoint to any point of the circle is called a radius. I-erase ko muna itong mga. This is for reference lang naman kanina. And for you not to get confused, I'm going to remove one radius para you'll not get confused. Okay. Another example, another type of line, kasi sinabi ko kanina there are two types when it comes to circles. One is the radius and one is from one point of the circle to any point of the circle as long as it touches the midpoint. Okay? Please take note that it is very important that it touches the midpoint. Not like this. Not like that. Okay? Because this one doesn't touch the midpoint. So, hindi pwede yan. Okay? So, this is called a diameter. Diameter ang tawag natin dyan. Okay? Anong ibig sabihin ng diameter? Any point of a circle to another point of a circle as long as it touches the midpoint. Ayaw ko gawin yung definition parang masyadong formal kasi I want it understandable lang. Okay? Any point of a circle to another point of a circle as long as it touches the midpoint. Okay? As you can see, tinan nyo. That green line basically touches the midpoint natin which is here. Okay? By the way, this is called a midpoint. Refers to the center most part of the circle. Okay? A midpoint is technically centermost part of the circle. So again, radius from midpoint to any point of the circle. Again, sa radius, kailangan it's just half, no? Parang kalahati lang siya. From midpoint to any point of the circle. And the diameter is any point of the circle to another point of a circle as long as it touches the midpoint. Okay? So, kailangan makatouch siya sa midpoint. Else, it is not considered a diameter. Example, if we have a line here, kunwari ito. So, if you notice that the yellow line touches one point of a circle to another point of a circle, but doesn't pass through or doesn't touch the midpoint. So, in other words, this is not considered a diameter. Okay? And by simply looking at the definition for radius and diameter, we can say that diameter is twice the length of the radius. And we can also say that the radius is half the length of the diameter. So as a mathematical expression, we can say that our diameter is equivalent to 2 times the value of our radius. Okay? R being the radius while D being our diameter. Okay? In other words, to solve for the diameter, we just need to get the radius and multiply it by 2. While for the radius naman, we can say that solving for the radius, you just need to take the diameter and divide it by 2. In which again, our R is our radius and D is our diameter. Okay, klaklaruin ko lang. Okay. So basically, explaining further, passing through the midpoint, and let's form, gagawin ko yung mas medyo malaki para makita natin yung midpoint talaga, hindi mawawala. Okay, so if you notice, it doesn't touch, so I'm gonna do it again. I have to draw it slowly. So, try kong yun maglagay ng mga points. No? When I say point, yun na yung mga letters. So, midpoint is letter O. And the other points, such as itong point na to, para maintindihan nyo lang yung point ko, these are points, no? Yung saan nagtatouch nga yung mga dulo ng ating lines. So, let's say this is A, point B, C, and D. Okay. If you notice, we have 3 lines, no? Meron tayong 3 lines. We have line AB. Okay, para hindi kayo ma-confuse, to identify which is which, i-color code ko. Line AB. Then, line OC. Okay, from this point all the way to this point. Yan ang line OC. And line BD. Okay, so tatlo yan. So, i-identify natin. line OC touches the midpoint all the way to any point of the circle. So line OC is a radius. Line BD touches any point of the circle to another point of the circle while passing through or touching the midpoint. Therefore, line BD is a diameter. While line AB touches from one point of a circle to another point of a circle, but doesn't pass through any point or midpoint natin. Doesn't touch the midpoint. So, ibig sabihin, this is not a radius, not a diameter. Klaruin ko lang sa inyo. Okay? So, these are the basic parts of a circle. And also, you already know the circumference, no? Basic lang yan. Circumference refers to the measurement. For example lang, if you'll start here and run all the way around the circle, ang measurement niyan, bumalik kayo, starting point to end point, no? Starting point, then all the way back to its starting point, kung saan siya nag-start. This basically refers to the circumference. The measurement around the circle. Okay. Now, paano nga ba tayo nagsosolve for the circumference? How to solve for the circumference? Okay. So, solving for the circumference, by the way, meron tayong certain value, a constant value when it comes to circles. And you should be familiar of that constant value, which is pi, spelled as pi. Okay? Baligtarin ko kasi para hindi kayo malito mamaya. Okay, it's called as pi with a symbol that looks like this. Okay? And this has a constant value of 3.14. It has a constant value of 3.14 rounded off because technically the value of pi doesn't end. Okay? And also as a fraction, it can be expressed as 22 over 7. Okay? So it depends. It's either you're going to use 3.14 or the 22 over 7. It depends on the situation, especially sa libro nyo. But in my case, I always use 3.14 during my high school, college, and such. Yan ang ginagamit namin, 3.14. So there are just certain times that you end up with 22 over 7 so that your answer will not end up with decimals. Okay, so anyway, how do you solve for the circumference of a circle? All you have to do is just to get 2 multiplied to our value of pi multiplied to the value of the circle's radius. Okay, this is how you solve for the circumference of a circle. Okay? Circumference of a circle is equivalent to 2 times pi times r. Okay? Pero this can also be written as just 2 pi r. Kasi nga, di ba sa higher mathematics, when a variable is connected to any type of, for example nga, yung coefficient natin, when they are put together, the relationship between them is multiplication. Okay. But to avoid confusion in your part, we are going to make use of this. Okay? So, paano nga ba natin gagamitin ito? Okay. Circumference. Ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng circumference again? You are solving the measurement around the figure, meaning you're starting from this point or any point of the circle as long as you go back all the way back. Mini-measure nyo kung gaano kahaba. Okay. So, in this example, let's say we have a midpoint over here and we have a certain radius. Okay, baka sabihin nyo, Teacher Mark, should the radius always look like that? Parati ba papunta dyan? No, it can also go in other ways, like this case. Okay, knowing that our radius given is equivalent to, let's say, 4 centimeters. And I'm gonna tell you that, okay, class, you're going to make use of the value of pi here as 3.14. Okay, knowing that the value of pi is 3.14. Okay? So, para natin isosolve ulit, solving for this one, all you have to do first is to write the formula, which is a formula for the circumference of a circle, which is 2 times pi times r. Rewriting them, we have 3 times 3.14 times our radius here is 4 centimeters. Okay, klaro ba yun? 2 was just rewritten. Pi was taken from the value as 3.14. And our r is the radius earlier there. Okay, so all you have to do now, syempre dito, mga maliliit na number, as much as possible, please don't use your calculators. Kasi basic na lang talaga to. Okay, multiplying everything, you will end up with an answer of 25.12 centimeters. Ganun lang. Okay, this is how easy it is. Okay, I don't want to introduce you to the one earlier. Kasi ito, no, if given ang radius, yan ang gagamitin ninyo. If given naman ang diameter, for example lang, given ang diameter, let's say the diameter is 10 centimeters. Okay. You can also make use of a different formula. Pero actually, kung mapapansin ninyo, no, babalik tayo dito, is equivalent to 2 times pi times r. Balik tayo yung kanina, sinabi dito, that diameter is twice the length of the radius. Ibig sabihin, if you're going to multiply 2 times r, okay, saan na yung diameter kanina? Yan, 2 times r. Diameter is equivalent to 2 times r. So, ibig sabihin, this 2 times r can be represented by the diameter. So, this can be represented as diameter multiplied to pi. Okay? Teacher Mark, saan nang galing ang d? I just said it. 2 times r. Okay? Kakasabi ko lang. That is equivalent to 2 times r. D is equivalent to 2 times r. Pabalik na naman sa teacher's taas para makita lang. Okay? It's here. It's very clear. Diameter is equivalent to 2 times r. Okay? So, knowing that the value of our diameter is 10 centimeters, Teacher Mark, where did you get 10 centimeters? Andito lang. Okay? And the value of pi here, in my case, is 3.14. So, then again, all you have to do is just to multiply this. And 3.14 times 10 will give you 31.4 centimeters. Ganito lang dito. That's how you solve for the circumference of a circle. Okay? And if you remember, no, sa square, sa rectangle, triangle, we can basically solve the area of the square. Diba? Solving for the area of the square, that's s squared, or basically side times side. For the area of a rectangle, that's basically length times width. Ganun lang ang pag-solve ng area. Pero sa circle, we can also solve the area of the circle. Anong ibig sabihin ng area of a circle? You're basically solving for the number of units present inside the circle. And this represents your area. How do we solve for the area? Solving for the area of a circle. Okay, so dalawa to ha. One is circumference of the circle. And the other one is area of the circle. How to solve for the area of the circle? You just take 2. There's no 2. Sorry. Nalilito na sa teacher Mark. So anyway, it's pi multiplied to r squared. Or, para mas maintindihan ninyo. In your case, it's pi multiplied to r times r. What is r? Radius. Yan ang radius natin. Radius times radius. Then, i-multiply ninyo sa pi natin. Okay. Now, example. How do we make use of this formula? Bakit naging oblong ang circle ko? Let's say we have a radius of 6 centimeters. Okay? We have our radius as 6 centimeters. Now, how do you solve for the area of the circle? Then again, all you have to do is just to write the formula. Pi times r squared. Okay, in this case, our pi is 3.14 again. Okay, paano natin isa-solve to ngayon? What's the value of pi? 3.14. I need to make use of the space kasi yun na nga, baka malito kayo sa formula. Area of the circle is pi times r squared. Or in your case, I'm going to make use of the pi times r times r. Okay. Pi. Anong value ng pi? 3.14 multiplied to our radius, which is 6 centimeters, multiplied to another 6 centimeters. So, 6 times 6 will give us 36. 3.14 times 36 centimeters squared. Okay, Teacher Mark, bakit naging squared? Because we multiplied two same units. Unlike earlier sa taas, it's only centimeters because you did not multiply the unit of centimeter to another unit of centimeter. Kasi 3.14 is a constant. Wala siyang unit. Okay? So then again, going back. So we now have 36 multiplied to 3.14, which will give us 113.04 centimeter squared. Okay? So this is basically how you make use of solving for the circle. Okay? Ganyan ang pag-solve natin sa area of a circle. Basic yan. Okay? So I will stop the video here, the tutorial here, and I'm going to explain more of how to solve for the area sa next video natin. I'm going to stop here to avoid confusion muna because I know this is already too much for you. Okay? Circumference lang. Please take note of the formula for the circumference. That's 2 multiplied to pi multiplied to r. While the area of a circle, that's pi multiplied to r squared or pi multiplied to r times r. Okay, I'm going to stop here just para lang hindi na kayo maguluhan. Okay? I'm going to explain further complicated solving for the area of a circle after this one. I mean, after this topic natin. So that's it.